Let's talk about the intermediate challenge. Question number 1. So we want to build a component with some utilities. So for example, we want to create a method. We want to work with arrays, right? So if we have a method called append, so we have an array, we want to append one element. Prepend, it puts it on top of the array. Delete first, delete last, all these things, right? We want to manipulate arrays, adding and removing elements. So I believe on the prepend, delete first, and delete last, I got the feeling, and I may be wrong, that everyone did pretty much the same. So let me focus on these three methods first, right? Right. So on these three methods, everyone did the same. I'm not really sure why, Alex, why you had to do this. Yeah, but you don't really need it, right? So you could just return names, and that's it, right? So same thing I told to G before. We're doing over engineering. We are complicating the exercise more than necessary, right? Cool. So now let's focus on the controversial one, append. So most of you, shift, pop, and shift. So the way to append elements to an array, the traditional way is using push, right? Array.push. However, we got a problem here. So array.push will work on this example, on the first one, but we'll struggle on this one. Because if we do array.push and we push another array, so it will add a third element with the empty array, which could be okay in some cases, but in this particular scenario, we don't want to do that, right? Because of that, there were two options. Either option 1, which is what Marta did, which is correct. I think is correct. Yes, that's correct. I didn't notice that Marta did the same thing as Alex. Yeah, so I think that's unnecessary, to be honest, right? So if you do the unshift, you can return the array, and same thing here. You can just return the array. You don't need to do that. This is unnecessary, Marta. But apart from that, ignoring that line, so that could be a valid option, right? We explicitly check, hey, do we have anything on the do you have anything to add? If so, then add it. If not, just leave it as it was, right? And then an alternative, a more modern or a more recent alternative, use concat, right? So concat is smart enough to decide what to do depending on whether the value exists or not. So why Alex and Marta, you got literally the same? You copy each other. Yeah. Okay.
And this exercise helped us understand better what is happening.
Okay.
But now seeing the rest of them,
Yep.
I understand why you say
Yep.
it's too much,
Yep.
it's redundant.
Yep. Okay, cool. Thank you, Alex. Right. So do you remember what was the main concern about concat regarding push? Correct. Performance, right? Remember, concat is way slower than push. Okay. Cool. But apart from that, yeah, easy, right? So everyone solve it. So question number 2. Get divisible values. So we have a number and we want to find all the divisible values. So for 12, 1, 2, 3, what's the divisible number? So it's a number that the result of dividing the original number with that particular number gives us as a modulus 0. So the modulus of dividing 12 and 1 is 0. The modulus of dividing 12 and 2 is 0. But the modulus of dividing 12 and 7 is No, wrong. 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 No, 1, 2, 3. Well, you made it. You make it right eventually. It's 5, right? Because 12 divided by 7.
5 left over.
Correct. Correct. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Back to school instead of a bootcamp, right? Cool. So before checking what everyone did, I would like to call our friend Mobin because he skipped it. So Mobin, could you? So Mobin is going to explain us how to do how to solve it.
Okay, so first of all, we want to let divisible values equal empty array. And we want to return divisible values at the end. Yes, I have. Thank you.
I like the way Mobin is thinking. Look, he's not following the chronological order, but he's just setting up the exercise. He wants to take an array, and eventually he'll return the array, right? And then we'll see what to do. But I like that because then we won't forget to add the return statement. This kind of thing that's something we ignore, and because of that we get the penalty on the accuracy, right?
So then we have to set up a for loop. And for that we let I equal to 0. What's the next bit? Then it is the length of the for loop, yeah. So that was it, yeah. So I, as long as I is less than, let's see, less than or equal to the number, which needs to be set up at the top.
We've done it the other way around.
The wrong way. I is greater than, of course. That's the length of the loop. And then we want to keep iterating +1. That should be pretty much your for loop setup almost. Then there is an if statement. If, what was the if statement? It was, it's the modulus now. Modulus is equal to 0, something like that. There's a lot of curly brackets I've missed so far. But
So I think the for loop. That's
curly here.
half. No, so no semicolon. Take it away from
Space.
Thank you, Ben.
And for the length of the loop,
Yeah.
you might need the length of that array because number is an array.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
It's not
No,
an
it's
array.
not, sorry. I mean, it's not an array. So you have the
Number is just an integer, isn't it?
sorry.
Okay. We want to close that somewhere here. Let's assume. We also want to. I'll get to the curlies. We need to push something as well. Values dot push I. Something like that. Keep pushing a lot of buttons. There we go. Right. Back to the curlies. That'll be a curly in its own right there. Sorry?
Plus one on the length.
On the length.
Because you want to capture the number itself as well.
I don't think so.
That's 40.
No, because he wants to capture.
Why you need a plus
Oh,
one?
no, sorry. Sorry.
Right, curly there, if I'm not mistaken.
For that modulus bit, do you not need to tell it what it's dividing into?
Yeah.
Dividing into. Okay. Oh yeah. Modulus something. Modulus number. That was it. Yeah.
Is it that way around? Yeah, other way around.
Otherwise. Is it?
So think about
Oh yeah. Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Now think about the case about I equals 0. So it's saying 12 divided by 0 would equal. But
Yeah.
12 divided by 0 isn't legal.
Right.
So
You change the I.
I equals 1 then.
Good afternoon.
well, I did say good afternoon when I came in as well.
Absolutely, fair enough.
Your if condition at the moment, I've been assuming fairly braces, right?
Yeah.
Rather than
Parentheses. That.
Conditions or
Yes, you're right.
and what you want to execute
then you can actually fairly braces. Put that one inside.
Yeah.
So you go from curly braces to
Yeah. That's right. I think that's about right, isn't it?
yeah, it's quite easy to set curly braces after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's not fun.
That's closing here.
So you open and
There,
close
this one's here. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So that needs to close somewhere down here, right?
Remember Moving,
Yeah.
when you close a curly bracket, curly braces, I recommend you to put it on a new line because that will help you to read the structure of these blocks.
Yeah.
So then you can clearly see that the line above is not correctly indented, right?
Yeah.
Correct. And you still have another curly braces at the end of that line. So you should put somewhere as well. And And then again, if you have to do, you see now, I think that one was correct, but the problem is with the one below, right?
Right.
One below should come back. Exactly. And that and look now, the closing one is correct, but that closing curly bracket is
Yeah.
not aligned with anything. So the for loop
Yep.
is wrongly indented because the for loop doesn't belong to the line above.
For loop doesn't belong to the line above.
See that when you declare the variable,
Yeah.
you have semicolon, so this is second
Is that right?
line. So now you see, now it's easier to read, right?
Does that look about right to everyone?
What do you think, guys? Does this work? Yes or no? And why?
I think it worked.
Yes.
Okay, looking good, right? So can you test it?
Not equal to.
Awesome.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Well, that was a lot of help from everyone, but thank you.
Thank you, Moin. Obviously, we can, for example, instead of doing that, you can get rid of this and then negate it, right? Can we do that? Yes, we can. Why we can? Because if it's if the number is divisible, that returns what? 0. So 0 is evaluated to falsy. If we negate the falsy, that returns truthy. Correct. Yeah, I'm not asking you to do that. Just FYI, that's still valid, right? Different ways to solve the same problem. Thank you, Mobin. So let's do a quick look to what everyone did here. Yeah. So Tom did pretty much the same thing. He got an unnecessary penalty here for the spacing, but yeah, that's the same thing. Marta used a while loop, which is also valid, right? It's the same thing. It's just a different way to do it. So indentation is clearly wrong. Clearly wrong, right? That doesn't make sense, Marta. So that should go to the right. That should go to the right, right? But apart from that, that's the structure is correct. Jin, you see, Jin did the same thing as Marta, but with the correct indentation. And still getting a penalty here because of the spacing.
What was wrong with Marta's indentation?
No,
Marta's,
Marta, yeah. So look, I without looking at the details, this is clearly wrong. This doesn't make sense.
Okay, so it's
Right.
Is it just the my r dot
So-
push?
Yeah, so every time you have an if, whatever goes inside of the if should be indented because this line is affected by, I mean, it's simple as that. When you open curly bracket, the line below should be indented.
Okay.
Simple as that, right? Obviously, this is wrong as well. When you see that, this is clearly wrong, right? Because this closes if, so it should be aligned here. So these two lines should be indented, right?
In GIN solution.
Sorry?
In GIN solution.
GIN solution, yeah. That's
She's used double equals instead of triple equals.
Good spot. Right, so GIN is using double equals instead of triple equals. It won't make any difference in this particular case. We'll explain the differences between double equals and triple equals, but before that, the rule of thumb is always use triple equals. Double equals is evil, according to Douglas Crackford, which is one of the fathers of JavaScript. And then Alex, again, a for loop. Yeah, the same. This is the same. It's literally the same thing that Movin did today, right? Yep. Can we do this exercise? Yes, you can do the exercise using for each, but it will become way more complicated than expected. Because, yeah.
Only one number to start from.
Yeah, because if you want to use for each, you need to create an array. And creating an array that you can iterate with for each is not that simple. We may explain that one day, but if I talk about that, this is going to be mind-blowing. So I prefer to tell you, yes, you can, but don't do it. Right, question number 3, short actors. Right. So, right, I'm going to do that. And then we'll see what everyone did. We can compare results, right? So, short Hollywood mature celebrities by age. So we have a list of actors. And we want to display sort them. So we're going to show the youngest first and the eldest at the end, right? So yeah, so here, tell me, argument name. Actors, right? So actors is an array, we agree on that? So I'm going to do 2 steps. First of all, I'm going to sort the array, placing the youngest one on top, and then I'll just iterate again to extract just the name of the actors, right? Does it make sense? Okay, cool. So let's do, again, return actors dot what? Sort, correct. I could place A and B, but I'm going to call it actor A, comma, actor B for semantics purposes, right? So then what? Return what? We're going to show the youngest first. Actor B dot born minus actor A dot born. Why that and not on the other way around? Correct. So remember the semantics. So if we got A and B, so we'll place B first, right? If B is greater than A. Greater, in reality, means younger, because we're not talking about the age, we're talking about the year that actor was born, right? And then, in this line, we hopefully have the same array, but sorted. So how do we transform an array into another array with different properties, but still with the same size, same dimension? Map, correct. Map, actor, and I just want to return his name or her name. Does it make sense? Will this work? Simple as that, right? Yes, it works. Then we can think if we can optimize that a bit. Will it be readable? Probably not. Okay, I'll leave it like that because I think the exercise is simple enough, right? Cool. And then let's see what everyone did here. Sort actor, so Tom, same thing, he sort first, he's creating a variable, not against that, and then he's mapping to return the name, right? You could use arrow function, right? You see, look how easy using an arrow function is. Some of you have already solved the intermediate board challenge, and some of you needed 12, 13 lines to solve it, right? So with arrow functions, this becomes much simpler, as you can see. 1 line versus 3 lines. And then, interestingly, Marta did the same thing I did, but she clearly failed on the indentation. So that was a silly mistake, right? Again, every time you have array dot whatever, please put it on a new line. Look, I struggle to read that. I mean, it may be just me, but I find this because this is like a state machine. An array, action number 1, then action number 2. You'll see on the expert, I'm going to the expert next, that we do dot whatever, dot map, dot filter, dot reduce, dot. You have a very, very good long list of actions, right? So this will help to follow the exercise, right? This is a bit more confusing because this map is nowhere, right? What was that? But apart from that, the strategy is correct. And what else? Jim, who also got a penalty here. So she did the same thing. She created a variable like same as Tom, and then she used arrow function to return the name. So that's all good, right? Apart that the indentation is sorry, not the indentation. The line is very long, probably, right? Yeah. So Mobin didn't work. So he sorted, which is correct. But that return statement here, that was a bit unnecessary, right? We don't have to put return here because whatever sort returns will be assigned to that variable, right? So without that, probably we'll have the list of celebrities sorted. So then we'll have to just return their name using map, which is, for example, what Alex did. Again, Alex, this is wrong. So that indentation is wrong. Either you put it on the right or if you think the line is very long, that's still okay, but please indent it here, right? Something like that. So 4 characters, just 1 tab, not 12. What else? I think that's pretty much it, right? So, question number 4. Yeah, question number 4. I'm going to call Alex to explain us how to get the starting grid.
So we have an array of 3 objects, and we want to return only one name of their names, like half of the value of the property. But first of all, and also there's another requirement that asks us to, it's not actually a requirement, we have to reverse them first, because as we see, we want to return first Gasly, Bottas, and then Hamilton. So for this, I will create my argument as racers, and then I will return So now what we will have this array with all these objects reversed. It will start with Pierre Gasly and it will end with Lewis Hamilton. And then I want to get to the value of the property. And we will do this with map. We will call this racer, and racer.name will give us an array of 3 elements that will be Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, and Lewis Hamilton. And now we want to access only half of it, and this is where I stumbled, because I was trying to do something with the array, but actually we have to work on the strings. And if we do split here, and this is how we will create an array of 3 arrays with 2 elements. And now what we have to do is to access the first element of an array. And we will do this with 0 notation. And I think this is just a bit too long. Like so.
So, first of all, indentation. Again, that's wrong. Remember, every time you have a dot, add a new line. So before reverse.
For,
So races
oh yeah, exactly.
add a new line. Correct. And then align map to reverse. Correct. And then you can put it in the same line, right?
Exactly.
Also.
Like so.
Cool. So will this work, yes or no? Before pressing the buttons.
It won't work.
It won't work. Why?
She's taking the first name.
Correct. Correct. Our friend Eugene is right. So this will return Louis, will return Pierre, Valtteri, and Louis.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Sorry, I had
Even
to.
the last name.
I,
not the first,
exactly,
right?
exactly. So, well, this works.
Awesome.
Thank
Any
you.
question for Alex? No? Please, thank you.
Thanks.
And finally, question number 5. question number 5, which I'm going. Okay, I'll try to do it. I never remember how to do these things. So find tokens. So we have a sentence, and then we have a token, and then we need to find all the instances of that token within that sentence, something like that, right? So the description is asking us to use regex, the match method of regex. So Victor did the workshop about regex yesterday. Where is Victor? Here. Cool. So if you have any issue with regex, just watch the video. Well, watch it as soon as you send it to me and I send it upload to YouTube, right? But eventually that will happen. Cool. So let's create a new regex. And then as part of the regex, I think we need to specify what do we want to find. So that's the token, right? This is our search criteria. And then, because we obviously want to find all the instances of the token, remember Victor yesterday explained that we can pass some flags to the regex expression. Do you remember which flag do we need to put here and why? G. Why G, Tom?
For global.
Correct.
Doesn't stop at the first instance.
Correct.
Carries on
Yes.
all the instances.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. That's exactly it. We don't want to stop on the first instance. We want to continue on the loop until the end of the sentence, right? So then we want to return a. Take the sentence.
We can insert past the I flag as well.
Well, yeah, we can pass the I flag. We can pass it. I don't think in this particular example it will make any difference. No, but that's fine. That's fine. The example will be more robust. So the description doesn't tell us anything, but we can put it, no problem at all. Yes. So we got sentence.match. Let's see how many matches do we have, and then here we pass the regex, I believe. So will this work?
I'm gonna get rid of the first one because of the case it says.
Yeah. It says 4 matches with the AI.
Correct. That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, in reality that won't work. So I think it will work maybe on the second one. Yeah. So this will work. That maybe, who knows? But the first one will fail, right? Correct. Because in that particular case, look, it's including the capitals, and we don't want that, right? So we want to perform case-sensitive search. Right? And that works. Any question? No?
Sorry, where did you change the case sensitivity?
Well, because if we perform case insensitive, this token will be captured here.
No, I understand that, but I just didn't see where.
Where? Here.
Okay.
Here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I stands for insensitive. Thank you, Tom. Right. So I believe everyone probably did the same thing here, right? But let's review. So Tom, the same thing, right? So he creates a regex, and then sentence.match. Marta, the same thing. Actually, Tom got a penalty here because of the space. Every time you have a comma, space. Every time you close a parenthesis, a space, right? So you got unnecessary penalties, right? Jean, penalty, again, space, right? Alex is right? But Alex didn't put a semicolon, another space, a funny space, right? An indentation. What's wrong here, Alex? Right? All these things. Let's look after the details. Again, the example is right, but if you go to a job interview and you put that, it's a bit smelly. So let's try to look after, because the thing is, you've done the hard part. You know how to do it, right? You know how to do it. So now please focus on the details. No one here has offered a perfect solution. No one. So Tom, you fail in the space. Marta, unnecessary anti-line. Jean, space. Alex, indentation, right? Details. That makes the difference between a good developer and an excellent developer. So please look after these details, right? And again, I know that we should train that more often, and because of that, as we explained earlier on, hopefully before the end of the year, or I don't know where, but this is in our backlog. At the bottom, when you submit, even if it's correct, you'll have a list of warnings. We'll say, wrong indentation on line number 3, missing space on line number 2, and then, I mean, it will be up to you whether you want to submit the exercise, because technically speaking will be valid with a penalty, or you at least you'll know how to do it, and hopefully we'll train these things, right?
I think it'd be good to see where you're going wrong,
Yeah,
and then you do it.
yeah,
wrong.
yeah. I mean, there are some rules, basic rules. Comma, space, easy. If, parentheses, space, right? Indentation. If the lines are individual, leave them on the same indentation level. If they are nested, indent them. How do you know if they are nested? So, for example, when you open curly bracket, first of all, close it before doing anything else. So you know, because this whatever goes in here is surrounded by curly bracket, it should be indented. So what's more readable, that or that? This one is more readable because you can clearly see that this I, whatever is happening here, belongs to the if block. This one is a bit harder to read, right? Cool. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. Any question? No? Okay, expert time.